What if I told you the first hour of your day could decide the rest of your life? Most people wake up just in time to chase the clock, already stressed, rushed, and falling behind. But there's a rare few, the ones who rise before the world stirs, and they move differently. They think with clarity. They act with purpose. They win silently. Waking up early isn't just a routine, it's a weapon, a tool for reclaiming your peace, your power, and your purpose. Because if you don't control your morning, the world will control your day. So the real question is, will you keep sleeping through your potential, or will you rise and own it? In the next few moments, you'll see how waking up early can reshape your mind, sharpen your focus, and unlock true discipline. Waking up early is more than just beating the sun. It's an act of defiance against the ordinary. In the quiet before the world awakens, you hold a power few people understand, and even fewer will ever master. This isn't just a habit, it's a philosophy, a declaration that your life is yours to shape, yours to lead. In those early hours, when distractions are silent and the world's noise is still asleep, something incredible happens: clarity. You finally hear the voice of your inner self, the one drowned out during the chaos of the day. In that silence, your purpose becomes clear. It's as if the universe is leaning in, whispering for you to listen, to focus, to move with intention toward the life you were meant to live. Take Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of the United States. Every morning he asked himself, "What good shall I do this day?" And every night, "What good have I done today?" Those simple questions, born in the quiet of his mornings, shaped not only his character, but helped shape a nation. You too can shape your day, your future, and your destiny by asking yourself the right questions before the world starts making demands. Your morning is your forge. Here you sharpen your mind, strengthen your emotions, and craft the blueprint for your life. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, started his mornings in quiet reflection. He knew the battle for the day was won before the world ever opened its eyes. He understood one truth: if you don't master yourself, you will never master anything else. Waking up early gives you the gift of uninterrupted time. Time to think, to write, to plan, to learn. Time where your dreams transform into plans, and your plans into action. Let me be honest with you. Those who sleep through these golden hours often stumble into their day reactive, distracted, and ruled by circumstance. But not you. You rise, not out of obligation, but out of purpose. And that makes all the difference. Think of Leonardo da Vinci, whose journals exploded with ideas, sketches, and genius. Or Isaac Newton, who uncovered the laws of motion, not in the noise of the world, but in quiet contemplation. Their genius wasn't luck. It was born in solitude, fed in the early hours while others still slept. When you wake early, you're not just creating a habit, you're building a legacy. Every sunrise you meet, every quiet moment you claim, becomes a brick in the foundation of the person you're becoming. You're not preparing for a single day, you're preparing for life. Use these hours to connect with your purpose. Write your goals. Reflect on your values. Read something that sharpens your mind. Sit in the silence and ask yourself, am I becoming the person I'm meant to be? Let your morning become a sacred ritual, a contract with yourself, that today you will live with meaning. Because the world will always try to pull you into chaos, into noise, into urgency. But the choice, the power, and the future belong to you. When you own your morning, you carry a calm clarity that no storm can shatter. You lead with vision. You act with resolve. You live with intention. So tomorrow, and every morning after, when the alarm sounds, don't hesitate. Rise. Step into the silence. And remember, in those early hours, you are not alone. You walk the same path as Franklin, Aurelius, Da Vinci, and Newton. You, too, are a builder of destiny. Your foundation is laid before the world even wakes. The dawn is yours. Claim it. Waking early isn't just a routine, it's a cornerstone of success. It builds discipline, and discipline is the bridge between your dreams and your achievements. It's the silent architect of every victory and the unseen hand behind every success. There is no better training ground for discipline than the early morning. When you rise early, before the sun casts its first light, you make a decision that most will not make. You choose discomfort over ease. You choose clarity over chaos. You choose purpose over passivity. In that moment, you're not just waking from sleep, you're awakening your willpower. This simple yet profound act is the foundation of disciplined living. Each time you rise early, you're mastering yourself. And he who masters himself becomes unconquerable. Think of Alexander Hamilton, a man born into obscurity yet destined to shape a nation. He carved his path not through privilege, but through relentless effort. Rising before the world, he poured himself into study, writing, and vision. His discipline transformed him from a penniless orphan into a founding father. Or think of Catherine the Great, who didn't just rule an empire but governed her own habits with precision. Her rise to power wasn't born of luck. It was built through self-control, calculated thought, and unwavering purpose. She knew that leadership starts with inner order, and inner order starts each day anew. When you greet the dawn with resolve, you send a message to your subconscious. I am in charge. You begin your day not by reacting to life, but by commanding it. This early choice sets a tone that echoes throughout your hours, guiding your actions with strength and consistency. Like a disciplined warrior sharpening his blade at first light, your early rising sharpens your focus. You prepare your mind for the challenges ahead. You remind yourself that success is not stumbled upon. It's created one decision at a time. Discipline is not a single act. It is a state of being. It's present in how you rise, how you eat, how you speak, and how you think. When you commit to early rising, that discipline seeps into every part of your life. Think of Antonio Canova, the sculptor who began his days in quiet solitude, chiseling away with discipline and vision. His masterpieces weren't born from bursts of inspiration. They came from consistent, deliberate effort. Your success can be the same. Or consider Mary Wollstonecraft, whose writings laid the foundation for women's rights. Her mornings were not idle. They were active, filled with thought, study, and purpose. She disciplined herself to rise above the expectations of her time, and in doing so, she reshaped the world. Every early morning is a rehearsal for greatness. Every time you resist the temptation of comfort and rise with intention, you fortify the muscle of discipline. This habit, once formed, becomes the solid ground on which your dreams stand. Let others sleep through their opportunity. Let others wait for motivation. You don't need the world's permission to start your journey. You only need the discipline to rise. You might ask, what if I don't feel like it? Understand this. Discipline doesn't negotiate with feelings. It doesn't wait for convenience. It acts, especially when it's hard. And it's in those hard moments, when you rise anyway, that your character is built. Discipline is the gatekeeper of your potential. Without it, goals remain distant. With early rising, the impossible becomes inevitable. It's in these quiet hours that discipline is forged, trained in silence, sculpted in solitude. Use these precious moments to not only work, but to transform. Read what nourishes you. Write what clears your mind. Reflect on what grounds you. Prepare your body, your mind, your spirit. Make the morning your proving ground. Remember, greatness isn't just about talent. It's about discipline. The greats rise when others rest. They act when others delay. They commit when others hesitate. So tomorrow, when the world sleeps, let the quiet be your companion and discipline your guide. Shape your destiny one dawn at a time. In the early morning, you're not just awake. You're alive, determined, unstoppable, harnessing the power of early rising to fuel your productivity. When you wake early, you don't just gain extra hours. You multiply your power in the first sacred moments of the day when the world is still. You enter a realm of clarity and focus like no other. This is the hour of the builder, the poet, the architect, the leader. This is the hour of you, undistracted, undiluted, unstoppable. Each morning presents itself as a blank canvas. The colors are in your hands, the brush is your intention, and the image is your destiny. There's no noise, no demands, no rush, just space. Space to create, space to think, space to execute. When you rise early, you rise into command. You don't react to the world. You create it. The first thoughts you think, the tasks you tackle, the first actions you take, set the momentum for the entire day. Harness that momentum wisely, and you'll stack victories before the world even opens its eyes. Take Blaise Pascal, the mathematician, physicist, and philosopher. His most profound ideas didn't come from a whirlwind of activity, but from the stillness of morning reflection. He understood that his clearest thoughts emerged when his mind was fresh, unclouded by the day's chaos. Or think of Anne Bradstreet, the first published poet of the American colonies. She wrote her verses in the early dawn, by candlelight, long before the household stirred. Amid her responsibilities, she carved out time to create immortal words. Her productivity wasn't a gift, it was a choice. The most successful people don't leave their productivity to chance. They design it. And that design starts at dawn. These early hours are when your mind is at its peak. Alert, agile, receptive. Science backs it up, but your own experience proves it. You felt that sense of energy, accomplishment, and clarity that only comes from an early start. In the morning, your willpower is unspent, your mind is uncluttered, and your energy is high. This is your strategic advantage. Use it to tackle the most important tasks, the ones that truly move the needle. Don't waste these golden hours on distractions. Use them to build. Take Oluda Equiano, who rose from slavery to become a leading voice in the abolition movement. He used the early hours to write, reflect, and organize his thoughts. His autobiography changed hearts, laws, and history. He didn't wait for the world to give him time. He made it. Morning was his ally. Every early hour you spend with purpose is a deposit into the account of your dreams. Bit by bit, those deposits accumulate. Progress compounds. Days turn into weeks, and weeks turn into momentum. Your life begins to shift, not in giant leaps, but through consistent, focused, daily effort. You're not racing the world. You're outrunning your former self, and every early morning gives you a head start. This is the path of the producer, the creator, the achiever. Productivity isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters most when you're at your best. And you're never at your best except when you start your day with intention, direction, and focus. Use these hours to plan, build, write, think. Create systems that serve you. Refine your skills. Lay the bricks of progress before distractions even have a chance to knock. Don't squander the quiet. It's your sanctuary. Let others start their day in rush and noise. But you start your day with clarity, commitment, and craftsmanship. Because you know that when you own your morning, you own your light. Tomorrow, when the sky is still dark and silence covers the earth like a blanket, rise. Let your first breath be one of purpose. Let your first move be one of progress. Paint your canvas with bold strokes and watch, day by day, as your productivity rises with the sun. You're not just getting things done, you're advancing your vision, and it all starts in the morning. Early mornings build resilience and strength. They're not just about waking up, they're about waking up strong. Each time you choose to rise before the world, you choose resilience over ease, strength over softness, and growth over stagnation. The discipline to wake early is the training ground of a resilient spirit, an unbreakable will, and an indomitable soul. Resilience isn't born in comfort. It's forged in fire, through consistent confrontation with challenge. And what greater daily challenge is there than the warm embrace of your bed, the seductive pull of sleep, the easy excuse to delay your purpose? Every morning you choose to rise early, you make a powerful declaration. I am stronger than my excuses. I am bigger than my comfort. That choice becomes the first victory of your day, the foundation for all victories to follow. Think of Booker T. Washington, who walked miles before dawn just to attend school. He didn't wait for the world to hand him comfort. He rose before the sun again and again because he knew his strength was being formed in struggle. That same spirit lives in you, waiting to be summoned at sunrise. Abigail Adams, wife of John Adams and a leader in her own right, awoke early, not merely to serve her family, but to write, study, and think. In times of war and uncertainty, she became a pillar of wisdom and strength. Why? Because she trained herself daily to meet hardship with readiness, not retreat. The temptation to stay in bed is not just physical, it is symbolic. It represents every comfort that delays growth, every hesitation that halts progress, every fear that keeps you small. When you conquer that temptation, even just once, you prove to yourself that you are capable of rising above. Resilience is built brick by brick in moments like these. When you feel tired, but rise anyway. When you feel doubt, but act anyway. When you feel fear, but move anyway. The early morning hours are the perfect crucible for this transformation. In these hours, you're tested, not by the world, but by yourself. And that test is sacred. When you train yourself to win that first battle of the day, you carry that strength into every other battle life throws your way. Resilience isn't just about bouncing back. It's about pushing forward relentlessly, no matter the obstacle. When you start your day by pushing forward into the cold, the quiet, and the unknown, you practice the very essence of mental toughness. Think of sculptor Bertel Thorvaldsen, whose commitment to his art began in the stillness of the early morning. He didn't wait for inspiration. He showed up again and again, facing the stone with resolve. Life, like stone, can be hard, but with resilience, you don't break. You carve. Use your mornings to sharpen this tool. Do something difficult. Sit in silence with your thoughts. Write out your fears and face them. Move your body when it protests. Read something that challenges your mind. These small, repeated efforts harden your resolve. Others may choose the pillow. Others may press snooze. But you are a different breed. You understand that greatness isn't handed out. It's earned in the shadows, in the silence, in the unseen choices made before the sun rises. When you consistently choose the harder path, the higher road, the earlier hour, you begin to change. You stop being controlled by life and start commanding it. You respond to setbacks with strategy. You face adversity with calm because you've built an unshakable core within yourself. Tomorrow morning, when your eyes open and the bed whispers your name, remember, that moment is your test. Pass it, and you walk into your day with armor. Failing can make the world feel heavier, but you hold the power to decide. Rise, face the discomfort, embrace the discipline, and know that with every early morning, you are shaping yourself into someone who cannot be broken, someone who endures, someone who leads. You are becoming resilient, not by accident, but by choice. And that choice begins at dawn. Waking up early is more than just a habit. It's a ritual of renewal. Each morning, as the first light cracks the sky, you are given a gift, a fresh beginning, a clean slate, and a chance to decide how your day will unfold. When you rise with intention, you set the tone for everything that follows. Every sunrise is a whisper from the universe saying, "Begin again." In the stillness of the morning, before the world's noise invades your thoughts, you have the power to shape your mindset. You get to decide how you will feel, how you will respond, and how you will lead your life before anyone else gets a say. It is here, in these quiet hours, that positivity is planted. This is where gratitude grows, where clarity dawns, and where your mind is tuned to the frequency of possibility. Think of Florence Nightingale, who started her days in quiet contemplation. In the chaos of war-torn hospitals, she brought order, hope, and light. While she couldn't control the world around her, she could control how she entered each day. That power came from her early morning reflections. Or consider Carl Linnaeus, the great botanist, who rose with the sun to explore and marvel at the natural world. He welcomed each day with gratitude, turning scientific observation into a lifelong passion. The early morning isn't just a time, it's a mindset. It's a decision to begin with peace, to lead with optimism, and to live with awareness. When you choose to rise early, you claim that mindset for yourself. In these hours, you are free to journal your thoughts, to express gratitude, to visualize what can be, free to meditate, to breathe deeply, to align yourself with your highest self, free to speak affirmations that fuel your spirit. I am focused, I am capable, I am grateful, I am becoming the person I am meant to be. This is an indulgence. It's preparation. A mind that begins in gratitude cannot be easily shaken. A spirit rooted in positivity can face challenges without fear. And a person who chooses light at dawn becomes a beacon for others throughout the day. How you start your day determines how you live it. Begin with chaos, and your day will feel scattered. Begin with stillness, and it will flow. The early riser doesn't stumble into life. They step into it with clarity, intention, and power. Let your morning routine be your anchor. Create space to reflect, to speak kind words to yourself, to reconnect with your values and vision. You don't need hours, just consistency. 5 minutes of gratitude, 10 minutes of focused breathing, a few pages of powerful reading. These aren't small acts. They are transformative that you're not just waking your body. you're awakening your spirit. And when your spirit is awake, there's no room for bitterness, no space for complaint. You see opportunity in challenge, light in darkness, and lessons in every failure. Let others wake in haste, diving straight into the demands of the world. But you begin your day in harmony, with purpose. That difference will echo in every conversation, every decision, and every moment you live. Tomorrow morning, as the world sleeps, rise. Light a candle, open a journal, step outside, breathe in the dawn air, and say something beautiful to yourself. Think of 3 things you're grateful for. Set your mind on growth, not fear, on service, not selfishness. You don't need perfect conditions to live positively. You only need a willing heart and a consistent practice. Begin each day in this spirit, and you'll notice those around you responding differently. Your work will flow more freely. Your burdens will feel lighter. Why? Because you are different. You've chosen to start strong, to lead yourself before leading others, to cultivate light before facing the darkness. And in doing so, you've become the very embodiment of positive living. This is the hidden power of rising early. Not just productivity, not just discipline, but the ability to choose your spirit each day. And when you choose positivity, you choose a light that lifts others as it lifts you. Rise early, rise grateful, rise empowered. Let your life be felt in everything you do. Early mornings are a gateway to continuous learning. But learning isn't just a virtue, it's the bedrock of advancement. No one climbs the ladder of success without feeding their mind, sharpening their intellect, and pushing the limits of what they know. And there's no better time to do this than in the early morning, when the world is still and your mind is ready to absorb, reflect, and expand. This serene time makes your mind the most open, the most receptive, and the most alive. Each early morning is an invitation to grow, and if you accept it consistently, you'll become unstoppable. When you dedicate your mornings to learning, you're not just gathering information. You're building the mind of a leader. You're training your thoughts to be clear, your decisions to be sound, and your perspective to be wide. This isn't a fleeting effort. It's a daily commitment to your evolution. Let me speak plainly. Those who rise to greatness are the ones who treat their minds with reverence. They study not just to gain knowledge, but to grow. They journal not just to document, but to understand. They reflect not just to remember, but to awaken wisdom. Take Galileo, for example. Every morning, he began with study and solitude, questioning what others blindly accepted. His mornings were spent nurturing the intellect that would eventually move the stars. He didn't wait for perfect conditions. He created them by starting his day with disciplined inquiry. Or consider Sor Juana Inés de la Cruz, a woman whose thirst for knowledge defied the limitations of her time. In the silence of dawn, she read, wrote, and challenged the assumptions of her era. Early hours were her sanctuary for learning, and from that foundation, her genius flourished. When you rise early and dedicate that time to reading powerful books, writing your insights, or reflecting on past experiences, you are planting seeds of greatness. One idea, read in silence, can become the strategy that transforms your career. One insight, captured in your journal, can be the guiding light through future storms. The mind, like the body, must be exercised. Left idle, it withers. But trained daily, it becomes sharp, agile, decisive. And the best time to train it is when the day is new, before the demands of life crowd your thoughts and dilute your focus. Let your mornings be a classroom. Let your desk become a place of transformation. Let your journal be your companion on this journey. Read not only to entertain your mind, but to elevate it. Write not only to organize your thoughts, but to discover them. Reflect not only on what's happened, but on what must become. Learning is not just for the young. It's the practice of the wise. As long as you breathe, you are capable of growth. And when you give your best attention to that growth in the morning, you begin each day with the momentum of mastery. Think of Johann Sebastian Bach, who began his days composing, experimenting, and learning from every sound and silence. He wasn't simply born with talent. He nurtured it with hours of deliberate practice at dawn. You too are not limited by what you were given. You are empowered by what you choose to build. Do not seek comfort. In repetition, seek expansion. Read what challenges you. Write what reveals you. Question what confines you. This is the essence of morning learning. It sharpens your edges, deepens your understanding, and aligns your mind with your mission. As the sun rises, let it find you and study. Let it illuminate the pages of your book, the lines of your journal, and the corners of your mind where untapped potential is waiting to be discovered. Let every morning become a chapter in your personal journey of growth, a ritual of self-improvement that builds day by day. The leaders we admire didn't just react to life, they understood it. And that understanding was forged in quiet hours spent seeking knowledge. Yours can be too. Make this commitment. Each morning, before the world wakes, I will rise to grow. I will read. I will write. I will think. And in doing so, I will not just rise from my bed, but rise into a greater version of myself. That's the path of the learned, the strong, and the successful. Early rising enhances your self-belief. But self-belief isn't a gift, it's earned. It's built brick by brick through consistent action, repeated commitment, and disciplined living. And there's no action more powerful, no proof more convincing, than your decision to rise early each day in pursuit of a higher version of yourself. Every morning, as you step out of bed, while the world still sleeps, you send a message to the deepest part of your soul. I believe in myself enough to act. I believe in my goals enough to begin again. This daily decision becomes undeniable evidence that you are worthy of the life you envision. Self-belief doesn't come from standing still. It comes from movement. Each early morning you rise with intention, you add to your confidence. You begin to trust yourself, not just in theory, but in practice. Your actions have proven your dedication. Think of Michael Faraday, the great scientist who spent each morning in his laboratory, focused and methodical. He didn't rely on grand gestures or praise. His belief in himself came from hours of quiet work, showing up day after day, building momentum, refining his craft. Or consider Fanny Mendelssohn, the brilliant composer and pianist who practiced at dawn before anyone else woke. Her talent wasn't handed to her, it was earned through daily commitment. And her self-belief grew not from compliments, but from the quiet strength of knowing she had shown up again. When you rise early and devote those hours to growth, you're training more than your mind, you're training your spirit. And with each passing day, your doubts begin to quiet. The questions fade because your actions become your answer. You no longer need to ask, can I become the person I wish to be? Each morning, you are becoming that person, one disciplined act at a time. Like the athlete who trains before the sun rises, you condition yourself for victory. You're building belief, not by force, but through repetition. Let this truth sink in. Confidence isn't something you wait for, it's something you build. Your early morning routine is the blueprint. Every act of rising early is a promise kept. A promise that says, I will not settle for less. I will not betray my purpose. I will take responsibility for my life. And when you keep a promise to yourself, day after day, how can you not begin to believe? Don't underestimate the power of this quiet ritual. The world may not see it. There are no trumpets sounding when you open your eyes before dawn. But you know, and that knowing is what transforms your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who waits and start becoming someone who leads. You stop seeing yourself as someone who hopes and start becoming someone who acts. And with each passing morning, your self-image transforms from dreamer to doer, from wanderer to warrior. Let your mornings be a sacred declaration. I am not afraid of effort. I am not afraid of solitude. I am not afraid to do what others avoid. I believe my future is shaped by what I do, not just by what I wish for. As the sun rises, so does your belief. You rise not just from your bed, but into a deeper awareness of your own strength. You begin to carry yourself differently, speak with certainty, and live like someone who trusts their path. Your confidence isn't built in sudden breakthroughs, but in daily alignment with your values. It isn't found in grand moments, but in consistent movement toward your highest potential. Wake up early, show up, do what matters, and watch how, day by day, your belief in yourself transforms into an unshakable force. This is the path of the self-made, the quietly strong, the path of those who say, I do not wait for permission. I prove my worth through my actions. Let each morning, and every morning, be your proof that you are capable, worthy, and ready. Let that proof ignite a fire of belief that propels you toward everything you were born to achieve. Early rising fosters adaptability. Life isn't a straight line, it's a winding river, unpredictable, filled with sudden bends and unseen currents. Success doesn't belong to those who resist change, but to those who embrace it, those who adjust their sails with grace and determination. And there's no better way to practice adaptability than by waking early. Each morning, as you rise before the world stirs, you step into a space of infinite potential, a space untouched by obligation, chaos, or distractions. In this quiet, you shape your day instead of letting it shape you. You become the sculptor of your life. Through this practice, you prepare yourself to handle change, not with fear, but with calm and creative readiness. Adaptability is not just a reaction, it's a mindset. It's the ability to stay steady when life shifts. And like any great quality, it must be cultivated. By waking early, you gift yourself the rare opportunity to build the mental and emotional flexibility necessary to thrive in an ever-changing world. Think of Mansa Musa, the legendary emperor of Mali. His journey through uncharted lands, meeting foreign cultures, and navigating new economic systems demanded not just vision, but adaptability. He didn't shy away from the unknown. He used it as a stage to demonstrate leadership, a leadership forged through quiet, strategic contemplation, moments likely found in the early morning solitude before his court awoke. Or consider Clara Barton, the founder of the American Red Cross. She faced the unpredictable chaos of war zones and disaster zones with resilience. Her ability to organize relief efforts and comfort the suffering wasn't born of routine. It was nurtured by her adaptability, sustained through unwavering discipline each morning, grounding her even when the world trembled around her. Each time you rise early, you rehearse for life itself. You don't know what the day will bring. Some days will flow smoothly, while others will challenge you at every turn. But when you meet the morning on your own terms, calm, focused, and prepared, you send a message to the universe. I will not be thrown off course. I will bend, not break. I will adapt, and I will overcome. Start each morning by checking in with yourself. What needs adjustment? What plans need to shift? What energy do you bring today, and how can you use it wisely? Asking these questions daily builds a habit of awareness. And awareness is the seed from which adaptability grows. Flexibility isn't weakness, it's intelligent strength. Like bamboo that bends in the wind but never breaks, you too can remain grounded while adapting to change. Early mornings give you the chance to practice this strength in silence. You can revise your schedule, shift your focus, or adjust your goals before the world demands it. These hours are yours to think, pivot, and prepare. You're not rushing, you're responding. And there's great power in response over reaction. The early riser doesn't serve circumstances, they master them. Change is not the enemy. It's your greatest opportunity. Every time life shifts, unexpectedly, it reveals either your readiness or the need to become more ready. Each early morning is a chance to prepare. Let your morning routine be a flexible structure. Have your practices, your journaling, your reading, your movement, but stay open to modifying them. Some mornings, you'll need silence. Others, you'll need speed. Some days will call for deep reflection. Others, quick action. The key isn't rigidity, but intentional flow. Let the morning train your mind to remain open to new paths, new strategies, new opportunities. Let it teach you that no plan is set in stone and no obstacle is permanent. Let it remind you that your strength lies not in stubbornness, but in your ability to evolve. Each time you adapt, you grow. Every time you shift your plan without losing sight of your purpose, you mature. And every morning you rise with this mindset, you strengthen your ability to thrive in a world that's always changing. The future belongs to the adaptable, and the early morning is where they are made as the sky begins to lighten, rise. Take a deep breath. Step into the unknown with confidence. Adjust your stance, refine your aim, and remember this. In your willingness to adapt lies your greatest strength, your clearest advantage, and your surest path to success. Early mornings also strengthen your relationships. Success is rarely achieved in isolation. Behind every great accomplishment is a network of meaningful connections, personal and professional relationships built not on convenience, but on intention. One of the most powerful ways to nurture these relationships is by rising early, when your mind is still, your heart is open, and your thoughts are aligned with your highest values. The early morning is a sacred space, a time when clarity reigns and distractions are absent. In these hours, you have the rare opportunity to reflect not just on your goals, but on your relationships. Who do you need to connect with today? Who deserves your gratitude? What difficult conversation have you been avoiding? Morning gives you the composure to consider these questions with wisdom and grace. Take Frederick Douglass, for example. Even in the face of immense struggle, he carved out early hours for reading, writing, and reflection. His communication became his power. His words changed the hearts of men, but those words were not formed in chaos. They were born in solitude, in thoughtful preparation, in the quiet discipline of the morning. Or think of Elizabeth Barrett Browning, who began each day by composing letters and poetry that touched the lives of many. Her expressions of love, empathy, and insight were sharpened in the stillness before the world stirred. Her relationships, both personal and public, were nourished by the morning practice of heartfelt communication. When you wake early, you give yourself the time to prepare your emotional energy. Rather than reacting throughout the day, you choose to lead with thoughtfulness. You can plan how to uplift a colleague, express appreciation to a partner, or check in on a friend. These are not small gestures. They are the foundation of your relationships. The connections you build become the net that supports your rise. Early mornings give you the chance to strengthen each thread deliberately, consistently, and meaningfully. Use this time to write a note of encouragement, recall a recent act of kindness, or reflect on a misunderstanding and rehearse a calmer, more thoughtful response. In doing so, you train yourself to lead with empathy, not ego. From this place, all relationships begin to flourish. The early riser isn't just more productive, they're more present. And presence is the rarest, most valuable gift you can offer in any relationship. When you give someone your full attention, undistracted, undivided, and rooted in clarity, you uplift them, make them feel seen, and people never forget how you make them feel. Let your mornings become a workshop of connection. Ask yourself, who in my life needs encouragement? Where can I bring harmony? What act of generosity can I offer today? When these questions start your day, your relationships transform from accidental to intentional. Make space for reflection. Journal about your interactions. Recognize patterns. See where you show up fully and where you withhold. Reflection isn't self-criticism, it's self-alignment. It allows you to enter each relationship with greater honesty, humility, and presence. Think of Johann Wolfgang von Goethe, who valued correspondence and reflective thought as the pillars of his daily rhythm. His early hours were spent writing letters and documenting insights, not only to expand his intellect, but to deepen his connections. You too can use these sacred hours to become the architect of stronger, more fulfilling relationships. The greatest leaders aren't those who dominate. They are those who connect, and connection starts with intention. By managing your inner world before stepping into the outer one, you offer your best self to everyone around you. Early mornings give you the chance to respond instead of react, to listen instead of assume, to express instead of suppress. And from this practice comes a deeper bond, a wider circle of influence, and a life rich in relationships that will support your rise. So tomorrow, when you rise before the sun, take a moment to think about those who matter most. Think about the bridges you need to build, the words you need to say, the love you need to show. Do it with intention. Do it with grace. Do it before the world rushes in. Because when you use the morning to shape your relationships, you're not just creating harmony, you're building emotional wealth that will carry you further than any solitary effort ever could. Rise early, lead with love, and watch how your world transforms, one relationship at a time. Early rising drives consistent action. Greatness isn't built in moments of inspiration. It's built in consistency. It's not what you do once in a while that shapes your life, but what you do every single day. The most fertile ground for this daily commitment lies in the early morning, when your world is quiet, your mind is clear, and your purpose stands before you like an open road. When you rise early and begin your day with intention, you establish a rhythm, a personal cadence that guides your actions, anchors your habits, and accelerates your growth. These early hours are the workshop of the consistent, the proving ground of commitment. And every morning you choose to act, you lay another stone on the path to your destiny. Consistency isn't glamorous. It's not always exciting, but it's powerful, like the craftsman who shapes wood or carves stone. You shape your future through repetition, through steady hands and focused effort. One day's work may not show visible results, but day after day, week after week, the masterpiece emerges. Think of Immanuel Kant, who maintained a strict daily schedule that included early morning walks and dedicated time for writing and reflection. His commitment to daily discipline allowed him to produce philosophical works that shaped the thinking of generations. His mind became sharp, not through bursts of genius, but through reliable structure and consistent output. Or consider Louisa May Alcott, who rose early to write even while battling illness and financial strain. Her consistency in those precious morning hours gave birth to stories that continue to inspire readers around the world. Her words weren't forced, they were forged, one morning at a time. When you rise with the sun, you beat the resistance that holds back most people. You start the day before hesitation can take root. You move while others linger. You create while others wait. And each time you do, you build trust in yourself. Not just that you can act, but that you will act. Consistency is the bridge between your vision and your results. Without it, dreams remain abstract. With it, they solidify. Step by step, line by line, brick by brick. The early morning gives you the chance to lay those bricks in silence, without distraction, with complete presence. Use the morning to recommit to your purpose. Identify the one action, however small, that moves you forward, and do it. Write the page. Study the lesson. Review the plan. Reflect on your progress. When this becomes your daily rhythm, success is not a matter of if, but when. These actions may feel minor in the moment, but compounded over time, they become monumental. You don't need to revolutionize your life in a single day. You need only to make today count. Then rise and do it again. The farmer who tills the soil each morning doesn't doubt the harvest. He knows the results are in the rhythm. So it is with your goals. Water them daily. Tend to them consistently. And one day, you will look up and see what you've built, not by luck, but by daily effort. Let your early morning be a sacred contract with yourself. No matter what challenges the day ahead brings, this is the time I dedicate to my mission. This is when I make progress. This is when I prove to the world and to myself that I am not just a dreamer, but a doer. Consistency shapes your character, builds your identity, and in turn, that identity shapes your destiny. The person who acts every morning with purpose becomes unstoppable, not because their journey is easy, but because their discipline is unshakable. So rise. Rise not just to start the day, but to build the life you want. Rise not just to get through it, but to move towards something greater. Let your actions, repeated in the quiet of the morning, become the rhythm of your success. While others rely on occasional bursts of motivation, you will rely on your commitment. Let others wait for inspiration while you begin with action. In doing so, you will set yourself apart, not through force, but through consistency. One morning at a time, one step at a time, one victory at a time. This is how dreams become reality. This is how ordinary days create extraordinary lives. It all begins with one choice. Rise early, act consistently, and never stop becoming. Today, make early rising your first step toward lasting success. Your greatness begins with each sunrise. So, if you're ready to stop waiting for the perfect moment and start creating your own, then rise with purpose, act with consistency, and watch your dreams unfold. Remember, success isn't built in a day, it's built every single morning. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more motivational content, and drop a comment below about how you plan to use your mornings to level up. Until next time, rise and shine. Your greatness starts now.